Welcome to the Cool Fireman Podcast, a virtual firehouse kitchen table with Matt, Adam, Brian, Doug, and Freddy, where they discuss everything that matters in today's fire service. Now let's get to the show.
Matt, how's your mom and them?
How's your mom and them? I love that. I feel like every time that Nick comes on, that comes up. How's your mom and them?
Mm-hmm.
And he's drinking a beer.
Miss Lisa.
Yeah, I've been on the road for like 10 hours today, so it's well deserved.
All right. Earn your beer. You earned your beer. All right. Hey, welcome back to the Cool Fireman Podcast. We have hit episode 100, and now we are moving on, folks, to the next 100. Hell yeah. Welcome back to the Cool Fireman Podcast. Like I said, sponsored by Unkie Seasoning. I never know which way to point. The big guy. UnkieSeasoning.com. Go get you some. My favorite fire version. That buttery rosemary, I put that on everything. Hello. Oh, there's Elizabeth salt.
Hey, real talk, the hickory smoked salt one, put it on some salmon. That's money. That's delicious. It was.
Thank you very much.
Did someone say salmon?
Oh, I love salmon. I could eat salmon.
But
I could eat salmon in a week.
All right. Unkie Seasoning. Go get you some. And the Burn Box. Special shout out to Tom at the Burn Box. He hosted, or, he brought, we were at FDIC with Tom, or I wasn't there, but I could say we, because I'm part of the podcast, I guess. Flew him out, bedded him, fed him, and they worked their tail off for Tom. And I think it was a win-win situation on both ends of the spectrum there.
Yeah.
Sold a bunch of boxes and some merchandise from Burn Box, and hopefully gained a couple subscribers and whatnot. But we're always excited to get our Burn Box every month, with all the great stuff inside it. It's always fun. We've talked about it before.
In the FD toy collector, I just got a notification it has shipped.
That's right. That FD Collectors Club, you get 1 or 2 coins with a couple patches every month. Super fun. I love getting that notification in the email. Oh, here's your tracking number. Can't click that thing fast enough. Get in there. There. Yeah.
That's just, besides those patches.
Yeah.
The rest of them are from FDIC.
In Indianapolis. Amazing. But today, everybody's a little like Brian is, he's on like an airplane somewhere.
Yeah, he's traveling for work. I think he's
traveling.
Got to go spec out another truck.
Yeah, he's a traveling man. Freddy's house exploded, not literally, but kids and wife and everything. They're trying to work some stuff out, but
he's got explosive diarrhea and he clogged the toilet.
Adam, we've got Nicholas here.
Yes.
Nick.
So we got to apologize for Fred not being here. He's actually recovering from hair transplant surgery today. So, but he should be back next week.
It's going to look good.
It really is.
It
looks
I mean,
it
the
doesn't
plugs
even look like plugs. They're so advanced these days.
Yeah, the technology these days is just amazing.
I appreciate it.
But we got Nick Hammond here today. Fireman 1231.
That's right. You got to recognize excellence when it steps up to the plate.
Let me tell you about hard times.
There he is. What are you doing right now? You cooking? I thought you already cooked.
No.
You're just cleaning
So
up.
I already cooked, but I made dirty rice, beefy dirty rice. But I guess I didn't have enough chicken stock in my pot. I burned a good chunk of rice to the bottom of my cast iron, so I'm just like boiling it off because I refuse to eat soap.
Yeah. Oh, good. Nobody wants to burn rice, but shit, everybody's done it. Right? Cool.
The top is good, just the bottom.
Right. There's nothing wrong with that. That's why you buy 3 boxes, then you usually have 2 that made it, and you're good to go. Right? Yeah.
Right.
I figured since I had Adam and Nick here, we could talk about a little Fed Fire. We have a lot of interest. There's a lot of Fed Fire guys that listen to the podcast, and so I know they want to get on, and I would love to have somebody on. It's and we've said, if you want to come on the podcast, try to reach out via email and let us know. And there is a couple people in our queue that we still need to reach out to that want to come on the podcast. And a few of them are Fed Fire guys. And so it piqued my interest. Like, what is this whole thing about Fed Fire? I have a Fed Fire just to the south of me. We used to actually run calls when I was on the ambulance with them. It's Camp Pendleton Fire.
Mm-hmm.
Did a station visit there one time, and before I had gotten hired with Laguna, and I'm like, shit, why not? Let's do it. They do a lot of wildland fire stuff because they're always shooting off ammunition, and creating their own fires on accident.
The
They
Hollywood
do a lot of
Marines.
fun, huh?
The Hollywood Marines.
The Hollywood Marines, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But they do a lot of prescribed burns too, and they've actually invited us a few times. They'll burn out a bowl or something, and it'll be fun. That's super fun. It's just a way to kind of sharpen your skills and whatever else. But so what's the deal with Fed Fire? Is it easier to get hired there? Is it harder to get hired there? Like what's the MO?
It comes in waves. When I came in 20 years ago, we were doing waves every other month was 40 people coming in. We were doing massive hirings. A whole bunch of us came in for a year or two, then it kind of dwindled down. And of course, in the early 2000s, everybody wanted to be a firefighter. I mean, you had 20 spots and 100 people apply. So it was kind of hard to get in at that time in general to be a firefighter anywhere.
Okay.
And as the years progressed, each base used to have a human resource office, and they would do their own hiring for their base. Well, at least in the Navy side, a lot of our bases have merged together under one fire chief, and so did other agencies. So you're the representative number one for human resource that schedules the background checks, because you got to have a good background check because you're on military installation. Well, that might be local, and the one that schedules your analysis is in San Diego. I mean, it's like one HRO and it's spread over, and then it changes week to week almost. It's what it feels like. It's always somewhere else. And then about 2015 in our area, we had such a hiring problem where San Diego was scheduling all of everything for us. They were scheduling everything but finalizing firefighters. So we had people in the queue for 2 years because they did exactly what they were asked. They did background checks, urine analysis, this, and this. All they didn't do was hit enter to hire these people. And it put us in a big hole. And now, around COVID, just like everybody else, we got all these jobs and nobody to fill them. So we're extremely short across DOD, let alone civilian side too.
Oh yeah.
So we are, at least I know most of the DOD is actively hiring. There was some issues with human resources, and right now we just got our hiring freeze lifted. So we were able to finish a bunch of promotions that we just had. But my department I'm trying to think of the number. It was a couple of years ago. My old fire chief, he says, he did some statistic numbers. For every person that was coming in, 2 people were leaving. Just like that.
Right on cue, and Nick is out.
Yeah. And so it's just kind of hard to keep people. But the one, I'll tell you about the great benefits about it. Good pay. The hours, we work 2-week pay periods, and we work six 24-hour shifts. And depending on what base you are, is how you work it. So it can be 24 on, 24 off, 48 on, 48 off, or it could be like 48 on, 72 off, and a variation. But you're going to be work 6 24-hour shifts in a 2-week period. So a lot of people are on the 21-day cycle around here, so they'll do roughly 10, 11 days a month. We're doing 13, 14. So, and there's all kinds of funny ways they make our salary competitive.
Yeah.
But
that's like built-in overtime, right?
Yes, we have built-in overtime, 38 hours a paycheck, a time and a half. So our hourly wages are a lot lower than the city firefighter, but our salary is higher because we got that 38 hours. we have a 72-hour work week. So we have 38 hours total at a time and a half. So that really helps. Benefits.
Which is still kind of BS-ery because, you're making less money per hour. So like, that's the bottom line. You're making less money, but you're working more hours. And so that makes up for that deficit. I mean, and it's like mandatory hours that you have to work. So yeah, your paycheck's going to be bigger, but you're still working. You're still trading time for money.
Yeah. And the whole OPM is the group that oversees operations of personnel management. They oversee HRO. They are the HR, human resource. They got to change the rules because if you come into our department with no skills at all, like fresh off the boat, you're going to start as a GS3 to a 7. You kind of learn what all this stuff is, but it's roughly like $38,000 when you start. Well, a lot of cities are higher than that. Right. So for us to be competitive, we have to bring you in a different grade. And but
so how come you started a GS3? Like you just get past GS1 and 2 because you can write your name right, or what?
I don't even know anything about 1 or 2, but it's just the category that we're in. The government has a bunch of different pay categories. There's WG, and there's this that we're GS, and we're only a 3 to a 7 as a firefighter. But if you look at if the basic pay, there's the basic pay and there's the firefighter pay.
Right.
The basic pay ain't nothing, but the firefighter pay is tremendously higher. It's just a number game. It gets a little scary. Like Nick was a little scary about the salary number game and how confusing it is, wasn't it, Nick?
I've been having internet issues. I just switched over to the old trusty iPhone now.
There you go. Try to turn your phone landscape. Can you do that?
I don't know what landscape is.
Well, whatever. Like horizontal.
Left to right.
Why you gotta be weird?
But there's a lot of great benefits.
All right, never mind.
You get to travel. You can travel the world if you want to.
This.
Yeah, but now I can't. Now you're like upside down.
Well, hold on. Dang it.
For a social media celebrity.
Seriously. No, you can't do that because now you're sideways. Nobody can see you.
You said landscape.
I know, but it's not flipping your screen. You turkey.
It sounds like your software is a joke, bro.
Hey, I think your phone is stuck on up and down. Like you got a
locked screen.
Unbelievable. Yeah, you have a lock screen.
Oh God. I need to upgrade my technology.
You obviously have somebody do it for you now.
So you can apply for jobs overseas. You can jump between, I'm Navy, Nick's Army. You can jump between the branches and travel the world. So if you want to go to Germany, you can go apply for a job with the Army and go work over there. And the Navy in Italy and Japan, there's Guam. So, and you can jump around the country. And that was one thing that my area we had with retaining people is because once they got all their certs, a lot of them were previous military. So they would get the certs and go home to the base close to them.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of great opportunities to travel. You do get some commissary benefits, and some shopping, those discounts that the militaries are offered, everything but tobacco and alcohol, unless you have served. But I mean, it's really fantastic. Our city council, to explain it to city folks, our city council is Congress and Senate. So if we want to get something done, some change, like we were fighting for a work schedule change for a 48. That's apparently what we were fighting for. We actually had to go get law done because our fire chief refused to do it. So we went and got law changed. So that's kind of the really cool part about it.
You guys get like fast tracked on that kind of stuff because you're the fire department, or is it like the same as anybody trying to change a law?
It is. They in a sense they got to sneak it in a bill, and they put it in the NDA, the National Defense expenditure, So they're always arguing about money. So they don't care about something that doesn't cost them a penny.
Yeah.
They really don't care about it. So they just glance over it.
And they kind of hey, this is what they want. Give it to them.
They said Congress, Matt said it's good. Matt's a good guy. And this is not costing no money. So it's a win-win. You know.
So if you go up to Iwo Jima or wherever, you know, you go to Germany or Tokyo or wherever, and the cost of living's more, do you make more money?
Yes, there's a cost of living increase. So even though it says the firefighter pay is X dollars, you still have a COLA that goes on top of it. Yeah. So, and the highest ones are Hawaii and DC. And my area is supposed to be, within the next couple of years, we should be just right behind DC or at DC pay.
Oh, good. That's good.
Because we're a huge military town, let alone a huge military state.
Daddy needs a new pair of shoes. You know
I can get mid-grade once a year now on the truck.
Unkie's been DOD for like 400 years, but you just got into
years.
it. Like, what was your experience getting in? Was it hard or easy or what?
So for me, it was very difficult. Y'all know I'm from Fayetteville, North Carolina, and we have the largest military base in the country, Fort Bragg. If not the, it's one of.
Yeah.
They have like 10 or 11 fire. I don't know how many fires. They have like 10 fire stations. I think they have a bunch. A lot of staffing at a pretty decent amount of call volume. So I applied like 6 times.
Special forces play there.
And what? Yeah. How long is each time? Like 2 years?
I think they hire about twice a year. Okay. So it depends, and it's like Unkie was talking about the hiring and stuff like that. Each administration is different. Some are like, let's get them hired, let's go. But then when you have like an election year and you have a change in some administration, it can kind of get staggered a little bit. My biggest problem was, I had everything that I was well qualified and stuff like that. But my biggest obstacle was DEI, because when you apply, you go to USA Jobs and you fill out and you do your resume, and it takes you a minute to fill everything out. And when you're putting in your resume, you have to be. It goes to a computer. The computer reads your application, and it's on and it reads it, and there's keywords it's looking for, and you get points when that computer reads it. And it's everything from your age, to your race, your date of birth, and your certifications, and what you did prior. It's all computer.
Yeah. If you have CPR, you can put CPR, but then you have to spell it out.
Correct.
You put FFI, but you better put it in there also firefighter 1.
But if you were a veteran applying for this job, you got major street cred.
Right.
And that can, what in the world? Sorry.
Yeah.
And that computer would push that to the top, or if you were of diversity, push it to the top. And I just couldn't get through it. And I didn't understand why. I thought it was because I didn't have ARF, which, Fort Bragg
is very hard to get.
I don't have ARF. I tried to get it. Right. ARF is hard to get, and it's a hard class to find. And when you do find it, it fills up fast, like super fast. And anyways, so I applied for Bragg, but then I was like, I need to broaden my horizons. So I started throwing my name out everywhere: Fort Lee, Fort Hood, Colorado, and I was just like, who's going to pick me up? And then,
would you have gone to Colorado?
You go to Fort Hood? Why would you apply for Fort Hood? They kill each other.
Well, I know that.
Dude, your face was like, fuck no.
Well, I mean, I knew long term I would be able to make more money, and it would be just better long term for me and my family.
Yeah.
And if they
after 90 days, you can transfer.
A lot of places like Utah, they'll do they'll pay for moving expenses. Like they'll help reimburse you for that cost. So that's cool.
You can negotiate all of that.
But then
I saw Fort Jackson. And I said Columbia, South Carolina, which was 2 hours from me. I said, let's see, let's play this out. If I got hired, I could commute for a little while until I could get some roots here and to get everybody moved. It would be a bit of a headache, but it's okay. It's 2 hours down the interstate. It's not that bad. But I applied and months went by. Months went by. I didn't hear nothing. And I'm like, okay, I didn't get nothing. Well, then I got a phone call from the fire chief and he said, hey, um, we had some issues with HR and stuff like that. But it's all cool now. And are you still interested in the job? And I'm like, yeah, I'm interested. Like, cool. We want to do an interview. Great. When? Tomorrow. And I'm like, okay. I'm out in the yard, like working. And I'm just like, all right. Well, then they call me and I'm still in the yard working like the next day. And I'm like, okay, crap. So, cause I'm like getting ready to like get my house ready for sale and stuff like that. So then they call me and I'm doing like a panel interview. I'm like, there's this phone speaker. I do it. I guess I did good because I'm working there today. So then they sent me the tentative job offer and then I go through all the hoops and my HR rep was Miss Sterling, which she was great. I mean, she walked me through the process. I had her phone number. If I needed something, I had a question, I could text, call, email, and I mean, she was all over it. She was fast tracking me through all of this.
Yeah.
She said, "Don't worry about your drug test. When you get on board at your job, then you'll do all that later. Let's just get you on board." I was like, "Cool, great."
Cool.
When I got there, it was I was a new guy. Which, granted, I had 10 years. I've had 12, 15 years on the job, so I treated it like I was a new guy. And I'm just like walking around like, hey, how you doing? And I'm being the new guy. I'm making coffee. I'm saying, Wendy, y'all want to go to the store? And obviously I'll cook.
Yeah.
And a lot of them knew me because of my social media. The fire chief, when he called me, he says, I know who you are because I follow you on social media. And I'm like, well, that's great. I'm glad you like me already. So I feel like I had a leg in the door. I don't know. Long story short, when I finally got there, he said, "I like your passion, and that's one thing that drew me to you. I'm glad I got to hire you." And I was like, "Hey, great! I'm glad you hired me too." Because when they told me the number what I'd be making, I'd be like, "You mean to be there? What time you want me to be there?" That was my biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Nice.
And when he was talking about like the veterans being pushed ahead, that's what the workforce is put in the government. It's designed, especially after Vietnam, when the guys came home and didn't have they were no longer in the military. It gave them a job, and they were on a military installation, so it was something so comfortable, something they're used to. There were still barracks and all that stuff. So the job that me and Nick sit in as dirty civilians, people that never served, had the pleasure to serve, we're sitting in veterans jobs. So the reason why we get it is because there's not enough veterans have applied for the job. Then they open up to civilians. So that's why veterans get preference over a dirty civilian.
Yeah.
And it's also like he was saying, like going to Colorado, all he has to do is take any job, take that Colorado job. And after 90 days, now he's a part of the federal government and he can do he can apply to other bases internally where other people that are fresh can't apply to it.
Right.
So we do a lot of internal hiring and they don't get their numbers that they want for certain positions. Then they'll open it up to the outside. People are not a part of the federal government.
Yeah.
If you go to USA Jobs, there's a toggle on there and it says open to the public. And it'll kick a lot of them out. And then like you have like 4 to choose from. So, and that's how that was my biggest thing is like, which one is going to open to the public, which gives me a fighting chance. And it just depended on if I had that chance. Because a lot of the guys I work with are retired Air Force.
Yeah. Well, so you guys haven't made a stance, which is fine. So, but what I'll say is, like, I think that's awesome that they try to get the military, the veterans into this job because of what you just said.
Absolutely.
I think it's an easy way for them to transition from whatever they're doing in whatever military branch to come into the fire department because, you know, it's a bunch of guys and dudes that there's, I don't
fire
know. It
department's
seems
always
like,
had a military structure to it.
right. It's
from day
paramilitary,
one.
right? That's what we call it, you know, and it's just a good transition for whoever it is. So to give them extra points, like I'm all for it.
Oh yeah.
I don't think we do enough for our veterans in this gosh darn country, you know? So if that's one thing we could do is A, help them with a job, B, you know, into the fire service. I think that's pretty badass.
So if other people want to get hired, not only USA Jobs, but like I was talking to Nick and a lot of departments like mine, we're doing direct hires. So we're not even advertising on USA Jobs. You email what we call our district chief directly, your resume. And in my area, we have 3 district chiefs. And it goes into one email, and they'll sort through them. Like, it's first come, first serve in the email. And they just pull your resume, they read it. And if they like it, they'll pull you out and they'll make your phone call. So if you live near a base and you're interested, you don't see it on USA Job, get on Facebook, Instagram, find their union. Just start Googling, I don't know, AFGE, Fort Hood or IFF Fort Hood. There's the 2 main unions that represent the firefighters. Just find them on Facebook. Email the union. The union is always willing to get people hired, especially if they're hired. And you know, they might have a direct hire authority through their emails, which is not really advertised a lot. It's a word of mouth.
Nice. Hey, that's a good pointer.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Great
I wouldn't
Lakes.
have known that.
One of my districts, the Great Lakes, we are hiring. We're severely short staffed at the Great Lakes and Groton, Connecticut, the sub base.
Yeah.
I know those.
I want to add I am all for veterans getting hired over me. I think we should look after them first because, granted, I already had a job.
Mm-hmm.
I was just trying to better myself. And veterans absolutely getting out of the military need a job because you need those veterans because the people you're responding to, these are soldiers. And when they're having these suicidal thoughts and stuff like that, these veterans can really when they go to these calls, they can, hey, let me help you. I can help you cut through the red tape and get you the help you need. And you got me, who I came from, the streets of LA, Crime City, and I'm just like, I don't know how to help you, buddy. Just
Oakland.
keep your chin up, Paul Diddy. I
Well,
mean,
dude.
I'm not trying to be ugly, but I don't know how to relate to these people. I mean, I can talk to you. I'll be your buddy. I'll be your friend.
Yeah.
I'll be your shoulder you can cry on. But veterans really understand what some of these men and women are going through.
Yeah,
which is,
we never shot at another human person.
No, I never. Now I've had to dodge gunfire before, but they weren't shooting at me; they were shooting at the cops.
Dude, that's a great point, Nick. Like that is a really good point because there's a difference between sympathy and empathy, and we can be empathetic to their situation because like you just said, we can be your cheerleader, we can be your therapist. We turn into a lot of those things. As you're a fire department, you're a firefighter, like you have a lot of different hats. You can kind of behavioral therapist, you got these people that are having issues with depression and anxiety and all this kind of stuff. But sympathy is different. And it's, you know what I mean? Like, and these guys have what we call validity, right? I mean, we have some just because we wear the badge. And we thank all the men and women that came before us for that validity. And we literally go down the street, at least in my job. And, it's like we're in a gosh darn parade every day. People love us, it's because they trust us. And, but man, that sympathy is like, that's like, I love working with, I have this guy, Mo, who speaks Spanish, and we have a lot of tourists in our town that I work for. And so we get people from all over the place, and some people only speak Spanish, and Mo's in here and he can like, jog with them and he knows exactly what the hell's going on. He takes over the call. So like that just makes them feel more comfortable. Obviously we can figure out what the hell's going on. I have a like broken, Spanish, medical Spanish, if you will, but like, I don't know. I think it can kind of be compared.
Does it oucho? And they don't understand. You just speak louder and they can understand it.
You just add the letter O on the very end of it. Yeah,
speak slower and louder.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that there's a difference, and I think you nailed it, dude.
As I was telling you in the group chat, In the DOD, damn, he got real mad. He just walked away. Cut him off. But as you know, the DoD slogan is protecting those who serve, and DoD slogan is protecting those who serve, and it's really cool for me and Nick that did not serve. This is our way to somewhat serve, to take care of those men and women that actually are on the front line, part of that team. We're part of their support. So it's without serving the military, this is the next best thing, supporting them.
So, hey, without getting like too far into the weeds, I'm just curious because you say like that city council is like Congress and House, whatever, and like that's gnarly, right? I mean, if you think about it,
it has its pros.
It just like your government works a little bit different. Like, how do your chiefs work? I mean, you got one chief for two different forts or whatever, two different locations. Like how, but like more specifically, like operationally. So like if somebody says, hey, I want to do a different hose load, I mean, is that even possible? Or are you guys just like, no, you just fucking do what they tell you to do?
In my area, it really comes down to the captain. And we have two captains. Because we have two shifts, so we don't have one station captain. So it just kind of comes down between the captains having final say. So we have our engineers will discuss it and come up with something, and if they disagree, the captains will vote.
Gotcha.
So we have a captain, then we have we have a battalion chief, then it goes to our assistant chief, which is our shift commander, which is the highest 24-hour shift person. Then as a district chief, then it goes to our regional office. We're different than the Army. And so my chief is at another base in a district, and then he answers to a regional chief, which happens to be in Norfolk, Virginia. And then he answers to his fire chief. Yeah, it's like fire chief answers to another fire chief. The answers to a fire chief in D.C., known as CNIC on the Navy side. And they're the ones that set all the protocols and rules for us on the Navy side. Yeah. But Nick's different. Nick, tell me how you're set up.
It's pretty much between the shifts.
What about like operationally, like running a fire? Are you guys all pretty standard?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
The way where I came from, your second, you're first in. Where I came from, you're first in. You're going straight to the fire. Skip that hydrant. The next in company will get it. Get the lines out. Fire attack. Get to the door. Start fighting fire. Because usually your second, third dude is right behind you. So their tactic is we use the Oasis valve. If anybody's ever heard of it, it's. I'll go into that later. I could write a book about it. Anyway,
I just thought you were mispronouncing OS and Y valve.
No, the first time I saw it, I thought it was a daggone manifold. The first 2 engine catches the hydrant and throws the hydrant back out, and then they just lay the 5 engine. Boom, go to the fire, start fighting fire. Then then the second finishes up the water supply, the hookup, and then boom, people go to the fire. And then third then they pull the backup line, and then third is your RIT. Where I come from, third due is your primary search. And then fourth due is your RIT. So it's a little, and fire departments across the nation, the goal is always the same. Life safety, fire attack, accountability, all that. So, I mean, it's pretty much similar. It's not too far off.
Yeah.
I've voiced my opinion about a few things. And when it comes to gas leaks and stuff, like hazardous materials response, and it's made a few. I've made a little bit of I'm not saying I've made a big change, but
right.
Well, you were on the state of North Carolina's response team, which is a big deal.
I told them that. I said I did that for 10 years. I've been to a lot of hazard gas leaks where our bread and butter. We clamp gas lines 2 or 3 times a day. I mean, it was nothing. And when I got there, they're like, They were like, "You clamp gas lines?" I'm like, "Hell yeah!" They're like, "Check."
Dude, we don't even shut off water. We will, but like if we, let's say we have a car accident into a hydrant and the hydrant's a geyser, like we don't even have a commercial, like the right size street key or the water key to turn it off. But when I worked for a county, I was just a volunteer, but we had a street key in there. So dude, we'd have a blast. We'd get on scene. The full-time guys loved us. Because they're like, oh, here come the reserves. They'll get in there, and it's a full on geyser, and we're down there, getting video like on our whatever Pixel phones we used to have back then, the Nokia 5110 or whatever. But man, we were in there like turning it. It was so much fun. And then when I went to Laguna, they're like, oh, we have a residential water key, So if we need to shut off the residents' water for whatever reason,
which is
a leak
good,
or it's a fire or whatever,
but
we can secure that. But anything commercial or from the water district, we have to have a rep come out.
Yeah, somebody takes a hydrant out, and 2:00 in the morning, the city's losing money right there on the spot.
Sure.
You don't have to carry it on the truck, but it should be at one of your 4 fire stations. Send the battalion back to go get it. I mean, that's what we do.
Well, you know what it is it's just a normalization of deviance, to be honest, because we just don't get those calls. I mean, it might happen once, and it's like, oh, really? Like, to have this key here? I mean, it's just gaining dust, maybe. I don't know.
But I just maybe you have people that are on call that will respond in a timely manner.
Yeah, the water department. Yeah, they got a rep, and they come out. And,
we don't.
Turn that sucker off.
I'll say this: we get a water leak. We'll get an electrician out there. He's the first one to get on scene. And be like, we're like, hey, you gonna turn this off? He goes, I'm an electrician. Why are you here? I had to come. They sent me to come down here to make sure it is a water leak. We're the fire department. We're the catch-all. We go to every single call. Anything we tell the CEO, he 100% backs us up because we don't lie.
Right.
We told you it was a hydrant taken out. There was no reason for you to come here. Now it's delayed for a hydrant guy to come out here. And and with the government, a lot of times it's don't turn off that hydrant, firefighters, because that's not your job. That's this guy's job. And governments over the decades have come and gone away from that. Like, if I turn that water off, I'm taking somebody's job away. And it gets silly sometimes, but it has been like that in a good while.
My biggest wake-up call was fire alarms. I know we were going to a lot of fire alarms. And then, where I come from, you had to wait on a key holder. Because they had the right, because we were not allowed to touch the annunciator panel, because if you screwed something up, then it was on you or the department. Right. So I get there, we get out, and they have like these 2 giant key rings full of keys, and I'm just like,
have you started collecting keys?
Yeah. I said, what's that? He said, we manage all the fire alarm panels. DPW, they're the techs that work on them. We put we'll instruct the NCOs or whoever to put the work order in, but we reset the panels and everything like this, that, and the other. I'm like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
And then if we can't get it to reset, we'll just be like, all right, just, we can do.
Exactly.
So that's it. We're like,
my engine company, we went out, we run mutual aid with the local city, and this new section came open up, and they had a fire alarm going off, and it was unoccupied, supposed to be kind of commercial on the first floor. And they're like, we love this city. We love. I mean, they were just scratching their head like, I don't know what to do. We can't get a hold of them. We're like, I kid you not. I came out of nowhere, push the guy's side. I said, federal government's here, out of the way. Ching, ching, ching. My 20,000 keys on them with your key ring. Beep, boop, boop, boop. Because they're trying to get a hold of the alarm tech and this, that, and other thing. I was like, I got it. Like, we're not allowed to do that. Don't worry. I'm federal government. They're not going to care. If anybody asks, it was the government that did this. I'm like, where'd you get those keys? We just collect them throughout our career.
Right. Yeah. I don't want those keys. Here, you can have them. I don't want them keys. We get fire alarms all the time, but our dispatch will put the phone number for the responsible, whether they're home or not. It's just whoever ADT or whatever company, called them. And so they'll put the number. We have a little cell phone on our rigs, and I'll just call the number now.
Well, do they respond in a timely manner? Do you stay on scene until somebody shows up?
No, half the time we don't even leave the barn. I'll call them and they'll say hello, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? This is Matt, fire department. Oh yeah, no, I was just cooking. Or oh hey, the steam from the shower turned it on. Oh, okay, good. You got a reset? Yep. Okay, bye.
What
Hey,
about like
dispatch, we're
commercial
done.
buildings?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll do that. I mean, that happened at 2:00 in the morning, and we got a lot of homes that are second, third, fourth homes. Where I live is resort town, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
All these, rich people have tons of homes, and they weren't home, but they live in this exclusive area. And we get the phone call, hey, you got a fire alarm. And so I called them and I woke them up at 2:00 in the morning. Hello. And hey, what's going on? I'm up, you're up, baby. I go, you got a fire alarm at your house. And they're like, oh, we're not even there. We're in the Maldives or wherever they're at, And I said, okay, no problem. We'll go by and make sure that nothing's up, but I'm sure it's fine, So anyways, yeah, we get a lot of those too. But yeah, we'll silence them and then we'll just reset them.
We'll break into the building and reset it.
Yep. Right.
Yeah, really, we really do. Unless it's a special forces, or like a secret squirrel building, as we call it. Right. But usually when it's a secret squirrel building, there are different sets of locks on there.
Yeah.
And we'll go.
Yeah.
Call the commander of the base, the command and duty officer.
Yeah.
And they'll wake the commander of the base up. They'll tell him what's going on, and he'll make the call. They'll try to get somebody out there. And if we come on and say, look, it does seem a little suspicious, then he'll be like, take the door.
Right.
Go. If it looks suspicious, take the door.
Yeah.
But most of the time they're like, usually it's faulty sensors and stuff like that. And they're just,
and that's fine.
Yeah.
But I mean, shit, if you leave and there is actually something going on in there, that's my biggest nightmare, we got to a residential house at 1 a.m. and you hear ring, 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 and they got a bell outdoor going ding, 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 ding. Half the neighborhood's out at 1 o'clock in the morning, like going, what the hell's going on? And somehow we made our way into the house, and oh my God, it's such a nightmare. But it's like ADT can't turn it off without a proper code, and they don't know the code.
That's just
I'm
business.
like, come on. I go, can we not figure this out? I go, there's got to be a way where you can contact the 911 dispatch and get like some special code that revolves like every 5 seconds. Oh, the code is pineapple. Okay, perfect. Good. Turn it off. You know what I mean? But oh, sir, I can't turn it off. And I go, well, you got half a community out here that's pissed off at ADT right now. That ain't looking so good for marketing. So good luck with that. But we're out of here because what are we? We're emergency responders. So there's no emergency.
Nick, when y'all go into a building that's, no smells, just the alarms going off, and you don't obviously see no reason. I was trying to get is like, how do y'all, and it varies from people to people. We used to have one guy that you search the whole entire building and he'll let the fire alarm keep on going. You can't talk to each other. It's hurting everybody's ear. But I came from one base. We walk in, we immediately, if we don't see nothing or haven't heard nobody report anything, we go for a reset immediately, straight to the panel, do a reset. We go up there to the panel, see what the alarm is, smoke detector, room 101. Okay, we'll do a reset. And if it clears, we stop all units and tell them to go back. If it fires off again, we'll let it run because it might be smoke in that room.
Sure.
I mean,
have you seen those social media posts where those guys are saying, if you don't pull we have 4-inch, you guys have 5-inch. You said, Nick, if you guys don't pull a 5-inch on every fire alarm, then you're not doing it right. Take the time to get the sets and reps. I'm like, dude, if we did that, I'm like, we'd be doing it 2-3 times a day, which could be great training. Could be absolutely right. But I don't know.
You'll wear out your hose dragging it.
Training. Huh?
You have to replace your hose more because you'd be dragging it for no reason. So that 4 or 5 times a month you pull it, you're pulling it 4 or 5 times an hour? Come on.
Well, we're not talking about what you do in the bathroom there, Adam.
A lot of our hydrants we have a pretty good hydrant system among the base. And if I'm driving and I park near the hydrant, we have a front intake with about a 25-foot section of 5-inch. Yeah, and I will go ahead and flush the hydrant because it probably ain't been flushed in a while. And I'll break the seals on the threads, and I'll go ahead and hook up and, get ready. Now, if it's far away, yeah, we'll have the second due engine stage at the next at the hydrant because
What's your response plan on a single activation fire alarm?
let's say it's a duct detector, a smoke detector, a duct detector. It's a single engine response, and a lot of times it's usually the same one. It's a single unit response. We get there, we go to the panel, we silence the alarm so we can talk. Where's it at? Duct detector 233. Okay, let's go there. And we'll go. Looks okay. Don't see
Right.
anything wrong.
Yeah.
Acknowledge and reset. If it holds, great. If it throws a trouble, because a lot of times they have troubles. If
Sure.
it throws a trouble, we'll talk to whoever's on guard that night. Hey, put a work order in for X 213 duct detector. Advise communications. Hey, this blah blah is a trouble. We're out
Do
of
you
here.
guys put them on fire watch?
We can if they as long if it's occupied, we can.
Right. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
because
The
they have night
military,
watch.
they'll get direct orders. You're doing this. You're voluntold.
Yeah.
Well, you have night watch, so you have people up at that hour from like 11 to 7 or 11, whatever time. So there's always somebody there, unless it's Christmas. We had something called Christmas Exodus, where it's like December 18th to like January the 3rd, because we're a training base. Fort Jackson is we have probably 60,000 trainees, recruits. This is where they come to get their basic training. The commander, sergeant, major schools there. We're a training base. So at that time, Christmas Exodus, there's nobody there. It's a ghost town. So there ain't nobody to do fire watch because it's unoccupied. All the troops, all the privates have gone home.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, would you believe it that Mr. Frederick here that just rolled in, my fire chief, he met my fire chief. My fire chief tried to recruit him. We're trying to collect everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody
the
needs a
DoD.
Freddy.
Yes.
No, they don't.
How's your noggin doing, bud?
My head's good. We're good.
Good. Glad to hear that.
Wow. A man of few words tonight, Fred.
Oh, you guys were rolling. I'm not going to come in and just take over. That's silly.
No, welcome. We're kind of closing up shop here in a little bit, but we've
Yeah,
been
that's
talking
fine.
a lot of.
Any questions you have about the employment of the federal government?
So you guys were talking about alarms, and it's interesting because in my community we run a crap ton of fire alarms. That's like our main calls that we run, and it's funny because we get shit for it. Like, oh, did you actually run any fires, or is it all fire alarms today? And we have a problem with some of our senior apartments that we get a lot of careless cooks.
He's peeing off the porch.
He probably is. And then we also get contractors. Like in my municipality, there's always contractors working everywhere. And they either forget or they lie to us and say they did, blame somebody else. But like the amount of times that they tell us it's in test and it's not in test, and then we get dispatched. Our fire marshal has pretty much gotten to the point where if we go to your building 2 times in one day, you're getting a $500 ticket. That's it. He's done.
Boom.
Wow, awesome.
Yep.
Cost
We used to do the
recovery,
same thing.
baby.
Nick, did you wash your hands?
Yeah.
We have video footage that says that you didn't.
I was looking at something over there.
So I guess my question is, like Nick, you said there's 60,000 people. Is it rotational? Is it always 60,000? Does it drop off at night? Like, do you now run more medicals than you did at your previous spot? I don't know if we're saying your previous spot or not.
Oh yeah, we are.
We do run a lot of medicals. We graduate a class every Thursday. We as fast as they're coming out, there's as fast as coming in. I mean, I think when they roll in, that's a handful. When you see about 4 or 5 big old buses coming through the gates, that's a fresh batch of recruits, and a lot of them these are kids. I mean, you're talking 17, 18, 19-year-old kids, fresh out of high school. The weather is starting to warm up. So the summertime, when they're out the range or at the navigational course, it's South Carolina. It's hot. I mean, it's stupid hot down here. Way
Muggy.
about 10 degrees hotter than North Carolina. And they drop when it's like domino effect. When one falls, about 10 more will fall. And the
Yeah.
ambulance will take 2 or 3 to main campus. University of South Carolina Memorial. Do we run as much as my old spot? No, I wouldn't say that, because when the sun goes down and they go to bed, they're in bed. They're not out riding around. They don't have cars. Yeah. Now I will say, go ahead.
So I guess no. With your old spot, you had to learn streets and routes and stuff like that. I imagine there are streets and certain ways to get to buildings, but you have, I'm guessing, large expanses of land, like you said, a nav course and stuff like that. You guys have specialized ways of dispatching to those or finding your way to those spots. Does that make sense?
If they're off the grid, like, they're in the woods or anything like that, the drill sergeants they have Polaris and stuff like that. They'll tell us you'll meet at a post, and I don't get me wrong what it's called, but you'll basically meet at the Zelda post, and you'll go there and just wait, and they will bring the patients to you to the main road, because these roads they're coming down, you're not getting a fire truck on a dirt road. I mean, some of these dirt roads, yes, but when you're off the beaten path, it's only accessible by golf cart or ATV or anything like that.
So basically, they're getting extracted by their drill sergeants or whoever.
Teammates.
You're picking them up from a spot.
Yeah, they'll say, here's 2 here. Stay right here. I got 3 more I'm going to bring to you.
Oh, Jesus.
So, and nice thing is, we have the same thing with ships, and as he has in the middle of the field, you got so many hands to carry a person. So all you got to do is really carry your stuff back to the ambulance. They're going to carry that person out of there. If they got them on somewhat of their stretcher, come to the ambulance and then put them on ours. It's so great. How do you like the building numbers system?
So where I came from, you were dispatched as a unit, like, engine 17, respiratory, 6735, Matilda Circle. Okay, great. They'll just say Fort Jackson Fire, EMS, seizure, 3391. 3391 what? And you have to go to the map. I have a map. We have a map in all our rooms. I have to go to the map and find the building, find the street. Okay, and I'm like, I'm here. I need to go here.
You'll have building 1, 2,
Google Maps
15, 32, 4.
GPS is useless on a military. It might help you in like some of the main roads, like Jackson Boulevard, Strom Thurmond Boulevard. It'll help you on them roads. But when you get in the nitty gritty of these barracks, I don't know where nothing is.
How's your service out there?
And nothing's in order.
Service is fine. Phone service is okay.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
Do you run into the same stuff as Unkie, like he was saying, where it goes like 1, 2, 15, 39, 187?
Oh yeah. They don't reuse numbers for the most part.
and that's one. It's frustrating when I have to drive and I'm just like, oh crap, okay. And I'm really relying on, and I feel bad for my captain because I'm just like, 80% of the time I know where I'm going.
You can get in the neighborhood.
I get in the neighborhoods. I know we're going to the processing building, or we're going to the hospital or the clinic. I know where I'm going 80% of the time. I wouldn't say 80, maybe 70%. But there's something like, is it this one? No, it's this one. You go here, X, Y, Z, and go balls. I'm like, just tell me where to turn. That's all I can tell you.
And we changed over our dispatching center, and I have no idea why. We've gone from not all of our buildings, but when they dispatch us, instead of saying the building number, they'll give us the address. When they switch over to that, we were lost. We're like, What are you talking about? Like, yeah, this is the 2200 block, blah, 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 22138, Bologna Street. We're like, we know there's Bologna Street, but that's like the biggest, we don't know blocks. You got a building number for us? And they're like,
Well, I
oh,
have to
sorry,
ask.
that's
Well, I
it's
have
in
to
another
ask.
state.
Well, I have to ask: is that because we have two stations? When they say the number, I'm like, is that us or is that them? No, that's them. Okay, great. Is that us or them? No, that's us. Oh, good. I don't know where I'm going.
So with you guys rotating out those crews every, would you ever say Thursday? You don't really have, I guess you could say, frequent flyers, but you
No.
do have the same calls. Maybe does that make sense? So
Yeah.
you don't usually run on the same person more than once, unless they're a degen. That's probably going to get washed out, right?
Yeah, I've yet to run to the same person twice as a frequent flyer. Um, with the weather warming up, we have heat cats calls all the time. And Unkie, did they do the ice sheet where you're at?
The ice sheet? No,
Yeah,
I'm not
well,
familiar with that, so no.
I disagree with this, and I'm Freddie. You're a paramedic. Rolf, you're a paramedic. You can when there's a heat casualty, they will take a bed sheet and drench it in an ice water. I mean, super cold ice water, and they will cover them up to their neck in that sheet, and then throw cold water on them.
Yeah,
And
that
I'm
sounds like passive cooling.
that's too
I'm not.
fast.
I'm not here to judge
When I
anybody
first
at
saw
all.
this, I said, "Who did this?" And he's like, "Oh, I did." And I'm like, "Why?"
Don't.
This is what we do. I'm like, "That's too fast. You're gonna throw them into shock."
Right.
Who's doing it? Is
They
it
they
a
freaking
military
did it
guy?
when it was 40 degrees outside, and I'm like, "It's 40 degrees outside. I'm in a Carhartt. You're
Is
gonna
that the fire
kill me."
department doing it or the military doing it?
That's the military. Fire
In
departments is like against it.
the Navy, any kind of temperature, you're getting the silver bullet, and your corpsman is all about giving that silver bullet in you.
Yeah, but
Check
I'm just
that
like,
temperature, buddy.
the building is right there with air conditioning. Just take them inside and let them sit down and give them a bottle of water.
But they are trained. That's like overseas training, and then they do it
But we're
here in the
not
states.
overseas.
Yeah,
We're in a controlled atmosphere.
and overseas they are the doctor.
Give them
Yeah, it's weird.
give them a pack of nabs and a cold bottle of water, and just let them go sit in your office for 10 minutes, and then we'll take them to the hospital.
Start an IV and give them some fluids. They're fine.
I'm so glad you watched those people out there, because we are the special forces bases
All right.
where I'm at.
Yeah, I do. Hey, that was amazing. We're coming up on an hour. Thanks, guys. That gave some pretty good insight on Fed Fire stuff. So, hey, if you're a Fed Fire guy and you disagree with or agree with anything we said, then let us know. Hit us up, thecoolfireman@gmail.com. Right. And I don't know. I'm going to put up clips on Instagram and YouTube and TikTok.
Comment below.
Comment on the comment. So yeah, we'll have those on our socials. Follow us everywhere. There's still a lot of people that are listening to our podcast on Spotify specifically that don't follow us. So we're cruising right along. Just finished up FDIC, and like I said earlier, I was supposed to do this during housekeeping. Totally forgot. But we had our 100th episode giveaway. It's a massive giveaway. We're giving away a ton of stuff. It's going to be coming from all parts of the country because I have stuff. Doug has stuff. I think Unkie has stuff. I don't know. But you're going to get a radio strap. You're going to get some responder wash and wipes from Redline Decon. I'm going to send out the beer koozie with the Cool Fireman podcast. That thing is freaking sick.
I'll throw in my hat and koozie as well.
Okay, Nicholas is going to throw in his hat and koozie. Heck yeah! So
I got a helmet card.
Nick just started doing his own merch. So I don't know how do they find your merch, Nick?
Merch is in my bio. If you go to my Instagram, I have a video that's pinned, and it's talking about my merch, and the URL is in the description below. But it's also in my link in bio.
All right, find Nick on all of them. You're on everything: Facebook, TikTok, Instagram at Fireman1231. Find him; he's got amazing videos. Your followers absolutely love you, dude. I love going through your comments. you'll always get the crazy trollers, whatever. But dude, most of your people are just absolutely love you. So for every reason we do. But hey, let's get to it.
I love doing chicken videos.
Oh, dude, salmon is the best. So I'm going to try to share my screen here. It's going to be up on the thing. I got it all dialed in. It's a wheel of names. So we had a total. Can you guys see that thing?
Yeah, I see it.
All right.
Yeah.
So we had a total of, I think, 13 comments on Spotify and 11 on YouTube. And so all 24 names are on here. That I saw, I didn't see that anybody had done both. So everybody is on here just one time. So part of our wheel giveaways are if you do one on Spotify and on YouTube, then you get 2 entries. But I probably wasn't clear enough on that. That was totally my fault, I bet. But here are all the names. They're on this little circle of greatness. And we're going to push the button right now. Are you guys ready for this?
Let's do it.
That's some of the
All
people
right,
I met
here
at FDIC.
It might get kind of loud. I don't know. It almost blew your ear out, I think, earlier, Unkie.
Oh, not bad.
Here it comes. Who is it? Oh my God.
All right. For the people that are listening, are not seeing this, the name is, go ahead, Matt.
Ricky Byrd.
Once again.
Ricky is on fire.
I don't think there's a contest he has not won.
I think that's true.
I think that's true. Okay.
But the video, you can go to YouTube, you can see it. It was fair.
I don't think it gets any fairer than this. I mean, I put in all the gosh darn names. There's 24 names in here.
No, because you did a practice run earlier and it didn't land on him.
That's true. And I actually did that on accident. But yeah, and it didn't hit Ricky's name. So Ricky is the big, he's the special episode winner and he wins the massive giveaway. We have tons of other stuff to give away. So we're going to do another one soon. Get in there. And I promise not only Ricky's going to win these, but there's nothing I can do. I mean,
if you listen as much as Ricky does, you could also win.
That is so true.
That's true. Ricky is a OG listener that's been listening since day one, and he's part of the community for sure. We actually saw him at FDIC, or these lads did. Gave him a big Unkie hug. That was amazing. Yeah. All right. So you've seen it here. I'm going to turn this off. Hold on. How do I do that? There we go. Okay. All right, folks. Follow us on the Cool Fireman podcast. We have some exciting stuff going on. I'm not going to mention any names because we haven't solidified any contracts or whatever we're going to solidify, but we do have merch coming here in the next couple months, hats and shirts and stuff. So that's going to be super rad. And then possibly a new sponsor. So we'll see how it goes. But thanks for listening. We all love you. And seriously, couldn't be more proud and how much fun we're having with this community that we've built through this podcast. It's been super awesome to see some of the people at FDIC and engage, and dude, it's super awesome. So that's why we do this.
Yes.
But anybody else got anything else? Sweet. Who's going to put us out? Nick?
Does Nick remember how?
You remember how to do it?
No.
No? Roll it, Gigi.
Tell your niece to roll it.
Yeah.
Roll it.
Gigi.
Oh.
Roll it, Gigi.
Roll it, Gigi.
Before you leave, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and give these firemen a huge thumbs up. Also, make sure you check out thecoolfireman.com for more. Thanks!